Hello everyone, how you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day, and today we are here with another episode of the PWCC Weekly Review, where I go through the top 100 soccer card auctions for the week. I talk about them, discuss my opinions on different sales, sort of talk about where the overall market's at, and also would always love to hear your opinions on certain cards or maybe buys or sells that you had during the week as well. But with that said, let's go ahead and get on into it. So when we go on over to PWCC, the first thing that is very apparent, or at least it should be to you, and it was to me, is that these are very cheap. So typically the 100th item on the list is usually $300, sometimes $150. That's the lowest I've ever seen. Almost every week it's over $200 to $300 though. And this week was very cheap. This is more of a sort of instance of just not a lot of good cards being on PWCC this week. Maybe that's indicative of where the market's at, how people are feeling, and maybe, at a certain point, people just don't want to sell. I have seen and sort of heard that next week's auction is better. I don't think that it could really get much worse, but we'll see as we go. I mean, we'll find out that it takes a while to get over $300 in this week's auction, which is kind of what I'm alluding to. So there will be less things that we talk about because sort of these niche, $50, $100, $150 vintage stuff, I don't know too much about. So, starting off here, we have a cigarette card, an odd and end Pele, and an early Alcantara right there, but, none of these going to do too crazy of numbers. Above that, we have some things that we've seen quite a bit of, I would say at least. This 1920 set I've seen more than a few times. This confectionery sticker or maybe cigarette card type of thing, I've seen that quite a bit. There will be a few more of those to come. And then this 1962 Calcio Pele team photo going for 100 in a BGS 5. This row I thought was a little interesting. Again, we have some more early Spanish issues coming on in. Typically for this type of stuff, I would just advise to try to find it raw. If this much has been coming to the PWCC weeklies, you can probably do it if you really want to try. This Neymar auto I actually thought was not a terrible deal. Realistically, I wasn't going to buy it. I looked at comps. I think the last comps were like 140, 150, 160, but there was quite a few of these, so, he can kind of sign them whenever, but $100 for an Neymar auto isn't anything crazy. Something I always think about is in the Leaf sticker auto, sort of conundrum where they had a lawsuit. It was disclosed that they were paying Ronaldinho, I think, $90 per sticker auto, and so, $100 for a Neymar. I guess Neymar's not really Ronaldinho levels, but, still a Brazilian legend for an era, I would say. We have a Pedri Leaf auto. We'll be seeing more of those to come, going for 105 there. I guess, between those two, definitely rather have the Neymar. Going forward, 2019 Morgan Gibbs White auto. This one was something I actually wanted to look into just because since we're usually not down here, I don't know how these things trend, but over the last 6 months, this Ronaldo Blue-Red Wave has done pretty well. I guess generally speaking, having things be somewhat even is well, considering where we were in the past. So going from 122 to 110, up $5 from the last sale, so nothing too crazy there. SGC 8.5, this is really cool, sort of metallized card from the 2010 set for Messi. Looks really nice, but, nothing all too special. At one point, that card was, super hyped in the market. People really loved it. I still love it, but I never really understood the extreme love that was going on. Above that, most solid Genesis. We have a very weird-looking Mason Mount gold stainless stars. Not the most appealing photo, surely, so maybe you want to do that on your own, unless that's actually how those look, but I would assume not. Then we have a 1953 Kubala team sort of chocolate thingy. I don't know what this actually is. Seems very, very long, and Kubala is right down there in the middle, so really cool to see there. 2021 Renaissance Ronaldo 9.5 going for 115. That doesn't seem too crazy to me. I don't really follow these that much, but I'm always sort of curious as to if something will be like the next Kaboom, because that's what they're always trying to do, and it doesn't appear to be happening there. With the confectionery, we find a couple more. So PSA 9 there, PSA 9 there. There was a PSA 9 earlier, and I think there's another PSA 9 higher. Maybe not. I could be wrong. But yeah, these are coming up a good bit. I mentioned before, I wasn't really sure of it, but I had seen a couple, and they're in high grade, so it doesn't seem to be anything too rare. Also, people typically don't like the caricature type stuff, but people pay for this, I think, just because it's Pele, honestly, but I understand that. Up here, nothing too special in this row. I might be insulting this man greatly. I do not know. But I guess if you're paying $120 for something in that condition, obviously it is meaningful of some sort as compared to like a Gavi XRC. You never really know. A fun speculative play, maybe. But, realistically, The least proven of the two, or of the three in this row. We have Griezmann next to him, going for 120. That's an on-card auto. Really cool sort of set there. I do like the 2017 selects with the on-card. Above that, this is the, I think the only thing I lost this week. I didn't really want to go after too much, and this was a BGS 9 Samuel Eto'o. Basically, over the last few weeks, I've made the decision that I do want to try to go after this set in a 9.5 sort of range. I bought a few already, and yeah, I mean, this one I kind of wanted to go after. I felt like this was a reasonable price. For some reason, this is actually one of the harder ones to grade in the set. I think on PSA there's like 110 and maybe 2 9s. So I thought about this, but realistically, the subgrades were 9 centering, 9 corners, 9 surface, 8.5 edges. And I feel like if I said that through PSA, it's really an 8. So didn't really want to go after it, but it did want to make a little bit of an attempt. Here we have a 1937 Erwin Helmchen. Didn't know much about it. PSA 8 though, I mean, really high grade from back then, but you know, you never really know how hard to grade these are, but it's pop 101 and higher, so it is what it is. Read up a little bit on him, and basically seemed like a club legend, I would say, more of a league legend, maybe. Scored a ton of goals, but that was an era where people scored tons of goals, you know, for fun. Didn't really do much for the German team. One of the fun things I saw in terms of like his wiki page was that after he died, or I guess before he died, his wish was to be buried underneath the stadium. So I was waiting for that. I was like, wow, he's going to be buried underneath the stadium. No, they took a piece of the pitch and like laid it into his grave. So it's pretty cool. Just a fun little thing to see there. And I always love sort of researching a little bit on these guys whenever I see them. Then we have a Francesco Totti auto going for 130 there, and that is the 2022 NT set, so pretty good set that people tend to like. 2020 Topps Merlin Jamal Musiala, what is this, numbered out of 99, and a PSA 9 going for 130. Not too crazy, honestly, in terms of price point, but again, with, you know, some of the 2020 and beyond guys, it's hard to really know how many rookies they have, and for midfielders, are they really going to have a ton of demand? That is the question. Speaking of midfielders that might have questionable demand, Ruud Gullit, 1981. This is actually second year, so I did want to look this up, and we have basically this one going for 130 and a 5. The last 4 did 384, but that was a year ago. So, and then the one before that actually did 92. Basically, you know, in a much more crazy point of the market. So, seems like a fair price point. Back in the day, obviously, you can see it was a lot less. Someone got a 5 for 15, but someone also paid 26 for a 3. So, you know, I'm sure they didn't feel good after seeing that PSA 5 go for much less, but here we are. So, second year, still pretty rare, at least from what I can tell. Thierry Henry auto going for 140. Feels kind of light, but we'll see you know, another version of a light auto here in a second. 1980 Matthias going for 144 and a PSA 6. These things have been dropping, but he does have earlier rookies, and he's not, you know, a crazy in-demand figure in the hobby. Certainly a legend of sorts, but, you know, not something that's going to draw a crazy demand. 2019 Holland, want to take a peek at that since we haven't done a PSA 9 in a while, I don't think. So let me get the sales off screen here. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Well, actually, that's why I was looking at the sales. So basically, I do know what's going on. Like the $300 sales are people selling them on eBay for best offer, right? Or for buy it now. And they're just selling because Holland's doing great. But then when you have these weekly PWCC auctions, I don't think the Holland, you know, FOMO trickles over to the PWCC weekly. I don't think people are really, you know, going that deep into it. So this could be, you know, one of those opportunities to maybe buy for 150, sell on eBay for, you know, 300, net 250, 225, and make 75 to 100 bucks. At the same time, obviously could go down more, but just generally speaking, I guess if we look back at the graph here, I mean, obviously they were much higher and their low has been about 150. So you're picking up near the bottom, even back before they boomed initially. Yeah, I mean, 150 is basically the lowest they've ever gone for. I mean, pop 586, it's not crazy, but I guess it is an easy 10 there with almost 1,210. So you are a little bit constrained by the PSA 10 pop there. PSA 9 Ronaldo from 2015 going for 150. Really like the look of those, but I don't know if I'd pay the premium. Pop 104 graded higher, so not, you know, not insane, but a really, really nice card. I won't lie there. Above that, another nice Ronaldo. I guess I'd probably prefer that one, but nonetheless, a cup captain's going for 150. This is a 2016 out of 25 Messi, sort of him celebrating with the team. Just an authentic there, going for 160. Valverde going for 160 and a PSA 10, pop a 105. Maybe a hard grade, I'm guessing. I mean, realistically, with the 365 stickers, they're in abundance, so I don't think that this is going to be all too rare of a sticker. Honestly, kind of surprised to see it up here, but that trend does continue because I didn't really feel like I've ever seen any of these guys. I guess, again, we don't really go into the $100 to $200 range that often, but we have a Zola there and a PSA 6 going for 160. We also have a Nedved going for 160 and a PSA 9. Both very low pop, it says, but with Calciatore stuff and just Italy, printing in general, I wouldn't really trust it, at least especially these low pops. They're going to get graded more if they have true demand. Martinelli auto going for 168. Above that, we have a vintage Riva going for 170 and a PSA 5. Mason Mount, yellow sapphire going for 180. I guess it's out of 99 and a PSA 10, so I can kind of see why that is. Rafael Leao going for 180 in a red contenders ticket, SGC 9.5. Looking at that, the PSA 10s go for about 400 typically, so that seems like a decent premium on the SGC 9.5. I looked at the PSA 9s, and those were doing about 100 to 150, so a little bit of a premium, but nothing too crazy. Above that, we have the fake Vinicius, so, do with that what you may. Basically, BGS graded a ton of these. It wasn't an authentic release in Brazil, so there aren't even real versions of the sticker as far as I'm aware, so this is just a fake whenever you see it. I think all the grading companies at this point are done grading it. Then we have a Kylian Mbappe Topps Chrome Future Stars going for 190. We also have a 1979 Calciatore pack going for 200. I think they're cool, right? But $200, I guess, a Maradona and like a 7 goes for 1,500, and 8 probably goes for 2,000 to 3,000. So, is it worth the odds of ripping it? Surely not. But at the same point, if you want to have some cool old packs, that's a great way to go about it. Zidane PSA 5 from, what is this, 4th year, I think. Looks really good, I will say. Love the vibrant borders, especially if it matches the jersey. This is a 1966 Voetbal International Dutch team with Johan Cruyff in it. I believe he's down in the bottom row somewhere. But yeah, it looks more like a postcard. I don't really know what it is, to be honest, but I'm not a big fan of team photos in general. There you got him, nice and early. The earliest rookie is 1967. There's also rookies from 68, so this is a year prior. However, how much do people care about postcards / team photos? That's always going to be open for debate. Then we have a Messi out of 99 going for 198, numbered 1 out of 199, eBay 101. PSA 5 Messi, this is actually pretty cheap, but realistically, I understand why it is what it is. So $200 for a 5. I don't think I brought up past sales, but no, I did not. Nonetheless, I basically know where this was. This was lingering from 200 to 300 before this. Before that, it was 300 to 400. Before that, it was 500 to 600. I mean, you sort of get that it's just been coming down, right? But realistically, I think part of that is that the low grades have held up really well because they're collector grades, right? They're people that are trying to afford it but really can't. But at the same time, if those same collectors then ever want to sell, it is going to, be hard to try to convince someone to buy this when realistically there's tons of 6s, tons of 7s, tons of 8s, tons of 9s. So, you're always going to have that sort of weighing you down. I think that's what's happened here. I mean, realistically, again, this isn't even, I don't know, this isn't that bad. I mean, you could find these in Spain in beat up condition, which is kind of what a 5 is. You could find them for, $100, $200 pretty easily, I would say. So I think that's sort of fair market value. We've sort of gotten to that point. 1922, don't know too much about this, but an Alcantara rookie. So it says we have a 2004 SP Authentic Ronaldo going for 200. Seems like at this point the market believes this to be a 2003 version, but that's not really priced in, and none of the graders have changed it, so it is what it is. 1959 team photo. We've seen this more than a few times, I would say, at this point, going for $200. I did look up this TAA out of 99 PSA 10 just to kind of see what the Topps Chrome rookies are doing, right? This is $210 in a 10. Last 10 went for $350. Before that, $225, so nothing too crazy. Again, this is sort of what you're seeing, I would say, just in general. Like, if you sell something on best offer, buy it now, you can get a nice premium compared to an auction, but obviously you do always run the risk of maybe someone never wants to buy it, so you do have that going against you, I guess. Next to that, we have another Riva, PSA 7, 1964 Calciatore. I just wanted to compare it to what this was. So that's 63, so a year later, but 2 higher grades, so you have that going for it. Also, only 1 person on the sticker. Above that, speaking of stickers, tons of sticker autos. I didn't even look at this. So what is this? Modric, Marcelo, Benzema. Is that Vinny on top? Yeah, that's I mean, I don't know. If you're a Madrid collector, I mean, $50 an auto. I don't know. Leaf does a lot of weird stuff with like the quads, the octa. I mean, all of them. Saka autos going for 200. Feels really strong because we'll look above it. Oh, it's not here. It's in the next row, believe me. Above that, we have a 1979 Maradona and a PSA 2. I believe this, yeah, it's stuck on the back, so it is what it is. Not in great condition. This is also basically the same picture as the Estampas from 78, so it goes for a decent bit of a discount, but still a pretty good price, I would say. 1953 Termo Di Stefano. This is one of the, I think this is like the main early Di Stefano that's attainable to most people, I would say. Going for 220, not too bad. They're still down a good bit. There's been a lot of these, I guess, in general going to auction, but he is the most desirable set. You also have another release from the same distributor, I think, that basically has a border on it that is more rare, so people do tend to chase that too. A Gavi XRC going for 228 in a PSA 10. Above that, we have a Saka in a PSA 10 out of 45 going for 228. Then we have a Gio Reyna. There we go. We got some USMNT here in this auction. Didn't go after this myself. I actually felt like that was a pretty strong price, going for 260 in a PSA 9 out of 99. Not really a true rookie. I mean, his rookie year's 2019, but Immaculate got a little cute with it, threw a rookie shield on it. At one point, somewhat recent, I did buy the out of 25 in a PSA 8 condition for about 200, so that feels pretty strong, even though it is a great hire. It's out of 99 and much less desirable, I'd say, in general. The Mo Salah PSA 10 here going for 264. Want to take a peek at that too, since we're looking at the Topps Chrome here today. So 264 for the 10. Last 9 went for 113. 9 before that went for 114. Last 10 on best offer, that was, almost 2.5 years ago, went for 725, so decent haircut since then. But realistically, I would say still a pretty good price for an out of 150 Salah. And this is sort of what I was talking about in terms of Leaf autos for the youngsters being a bit too expensive. I don't think I've ever seen a Ronaldo auto, even a sticker auto, this low. Yeah, again, personally, I'm not buying it. I guess it is an authentic slab, so that probably, hurts it a good bit. But realistically, I mean, I'm not buying a Leaf card for the grade. I'm buying it for the Ronaldo sticker autos, so that's a really good price point if you're into that. Here we have an out of 50 gold. This went for 300 almost. I think that this was a bit high because there was an out of 10 on Golden, the red lightning strike in a PSA 10 that went on sale this week. I think it went for 800 to 900. I actually was bidding on it a little bit just because I thought at one point it was way too low. Was I really willing to go that far? Probably not, but Ronaldo out of 50 going for 300. Not a bad price at all. We have a Harvey Elliott. Was it Tiger Stripe? I don't even know. Yeah, Tiger Stripe going for near 300 there. Jadon Sancho, I believe this is third year, 1 of 1, so it is what it is. We'll see a couple more really good Jadon Sanchos here in a bit. I don't know if it's all one seller, so I feel very bad for him, but at least he's getting something out of it at this point. This Messi World Cup Stars in a red going for 324. Last one, Raw, went for 372. I'd much rather be the buyer of this one in SGC 9. And then before that, PSA 9 in December went for 750, and if we go back, it just gets worse and worse. So realistically, this is one of the things that I've never really gotten into the World Cup Stars set. I do like the look of it, to be honest, and I'll buy like some cheap players if I really want them. But the problem is for me, like if you're buying this red, are you going to go after the blue? Probably. I mean, the blue looks better, right? Even though it's higher number. So then if you buy the blue, are you going after the purple? Are you going to get the green crystals too? Are you going for like the rainbow? Or are you collecting the red World Cup Stars set? And I don't think most people that buy this are doing any. I think they're just PCing Messi and just sort of buying cards at random. And so, even then, I don't know how to feel about this price. I don't really know how to feel about this type of stuff in general because the 2014 World Cup has so many different, sort of inserts and parallels, and you can really get lost in it. So don't know what to make of it, but that is where we are now. This is a 1958 Verlag Fußball, Brazil, Soviet Union. It says Pele's in here. I don't really know where Pele is, to be honest. It says with Pele. I always knew that basically you get, I think this is Garincha, and then you get Yashin, and this is an early Yashin. Oh, maybe, okay. Oh, okay, all right. On the slab, I don't think it says Pele, does it? No, it just says Garincha and Yashin, so interesting, but that going for 324, I mean, if you're looking for, lots of legends in one picture, I think that that's a really cool one, to be honest. Again, don't know about the price point on that. You do see a lot of these sorts of cards coming up in decent grade, but above that we have a 2018 Jadon Sancho. This is out of 10 Donruss, gold die cut press proof, going for 336, and a PSA 10, which is just crazy to think about considering where we were at one point. Purple Velocity Vinicius going for a little bit higher in a PSA 9. I mean, just the drop off between these two is immense. Looking at the Purple Velocity Vinicius, Last one before this went for 900 in a PSA 9. This one goes for 372. One before that went for 450. Okay, so that's a bit more fair. That 850 seems a bit high. That 450 is about right. So realistically, over the last year, really hasn't gone down too much unless you're using the really high comp. I don't know why anyone would pay double the price a week later. I know Vinicius was sort of hot at times, so maybe, but realistically, it doesn't seem that crazy. This patch isn't match worn, it's just player worn, so at least it's player worn. But $400 for a player worn patch, I don't really see it. I mean, Ronaldo can, I guess realistically, are you going to pay Ronaldo, like if you price this out across the board for this card, are you going to pay the man like 5 to 10,000 to put on a shirt and take it off? I don't think so, or at least I wouldn't. But it is what it is. Panini Calciatore Baresi in a PSA 7 going for 400. Really, really iconic sticker, at least in my opinion. I think it just looks amazing. I mean, when I think of, I guess late vintage sort of just great looking stickers, this is what comes to mind. You get the red and the black of the kit. You get the hills in the background. I've always loved this. I think I've mentioned it before, but it just looks so good. The scenery is immense. Obviously, you're never buying a sticker like you're not paying $400 for a sticker for the background, but I don't think it can hurt at all. Looks really nice though, and sort of something that I'm always nostalgic for, I guess. In the world of putting colors on everything, I do sort of miss just the authenticity of some of it. Robert Lewandowski on-card Noir going for 400. People love the Noir. You get the on-card, so people are going to fawn over that, going for 400. Not too bad at all. I didn't really look at this. I don't know if they have like a heat map on it. Oh, man. So usually the heat maps don't have too much on it. This heat map is very hot. Let's just say that. So back corner, got like 5 little blemishes on the front. So explains why it seems moderately cheap, I guess, at least for what people are paying for Noir at this point. PSA 8 going for 400 there for the purple World Cup stars. Between the two, I don't know. I guess I'd probably rather have the red, just in a grade higher, but both look good. I do like the design of the World Cup stars. I've said it before. I think they actually look better. I know that you have this World Cup stars thing on the bottom, but I like the borders, and the borders on the 2014 base just look very weird to me. It's like little thumb holders on the side. I don't really like it, but that's just me. I know that's a very unpopular opinion. Might throw that in the hot takes in the Soccer Study Discord just to get absolutely ratioed, because why not? 1992 SI for Kids Mia Hamm going for 430 in a PSA 9. Not too bad of a price, it wouldn't seem. I'm sure that dropped off a good bit from whatever the highs were, but $500 for an SI for Kids cutout still is nice. This Robin in a PSA 10 going for 470. I want to take a look at that. This one went for 470. Last one went for 300. One before that went for 500. And basically all of them have sold in the last 4 months. So there was a good span there of 4 being sold in 2 months, and then we went with the 2-month break, and that gets you a nice little boost of, I don't know, almost 50%. So that actually a little over. So that's very nice. Out of 50, Jadon Sancho in a PSA 10 going for 516. That's actually not bad, I would say. I mean, obviously, gold looks great. I don't know if I looked this up. If I did, I probably closed it. Okay. I didn't really want to rub salt in the wound, but I think I'm going to do it. This sold for $3,300 at the peak of the market in a PSA 9. PSA 10 now goes for $500. That valuation is insane, because if a 9's going for $3,300, that means at the time a 10 would have went for about $10K. Maybe 7 to 10K, but I mean, however you want to look at that, that is insane. Obviously a player that is just falling off the face of the earth, really. But I guess if you're looking to get in on someone, if they've dropped 95%, maybe you could convince yourself. I'm not a buyer, but it is what it is. 2018 Black Gold Wave, Messi going for almost 600. Not bad at all. Don't know how much demand there is for the Black Gold Wave, but people love gold. SGC 8 Neymar going for near 600. Not a bad price if you're trying to enter the Neymar market. I also think that this looks really good, or at least better than the other. This Messi is actually fake, so basically the way you can tell is there's 2 different versions. There's a lighter version and a darker version. This is the darker version. You can just tell because, I mean, the colors look very, very crisp, very vibrant. And whenever you look in on these, basically, I would only really be concerned with these being faked in SGC and CSG slabs as of right now. I haven't really seen any in BGS. I have seen actually more in PSA, but at least they have money back guarantee. But the way you know is basically you can tell that there's this rosette pattern going on. There's like the little pixels that all make up the bigger picture. The darker version should not have that. So basically, that is a very simple way to be able to tell, and one that is very, simple on PWCC as well, since you can zoom in very, very far. Generally speaking, if you're on eBay or another site where you can't see that, I would just avoid CSG and SGC Este Messis unless you know what you're looking for. 1958 Gazzetta Pele team photo going for almost 600 on the dot. And a PSA 7, 2006 Panini Foot Benzema going for $690. Here I want to take a peek at this as well. Last sale here goes for $690. This one goes for $650. Before that, $500. And so yeah, I mean, up a good bit from the last sales. I guess to be fair, maybe the quantity of sales has dropped off a little bit. Not really even. Maybe that's more of a performance thing with Madrid, you know, kind of dominating here in Champions League. Maybe that sort of bumps it. Next to that, you have an Erling Haaland Topps Chrome Sapphire Edition going for $780. We've been seeing these go for $700, $800 every single week. There used to be like a whole row of them every week, but not anymore. Out of 10, Jadon Sancho and a 9.5 going for $900. Obviously still, I mean, a decent price point. I mean, if you look at this row, who would you rather have? I'd probably rather have both of the other two. If you're a gambling man, maybe you take the Sancho, but PSA 9 Messi going for $1,000. Can't be O, so I'm sure that helps it. Doesn't feel like a terrible price point. These have always sort of been lingering around $1,000 in PSA 9. BGS 7.5 Ronaldo, I actually thought about bidding on this, but realistically, I think it's probably a PSA 6 if you look at it. It's actually a real one. Surprisingly, I know BGS has a lot of fakes, and basically the prevailing theory is if it's after the 13.3 million cert range, you just want to avoid it. But this actually has really good color, has a print pattern, basically has everything you're looking for. But it is pretty off-center. Got a 7 on centering, and also has an 8 on corners. I don't know. I think I looked at that corner and I was just like, kind of a little thrown off by it. Didn't look great up there. I think the back was sort of the same. So realistically, people typically drop BGS for stickers. They almost drop them like 2 to 3 grades. I think this is like a 1 to 2 grade sort of drop. And PSA 6s for that have gone in the 1,000 to 1,300 range. So that's very fair. Row above that, we have a Roberto Baggio and a 9. Here we can look at the past sales for that. So we have a 9 going for $1,000. Last one went for $1,400 in December. Also another one in that same one went for $1,100. And then the further we go down, the worse it's going to look. But if we go all the way back to the beginning, you know, this is one where it actually was worth a good bit. It's a 312 in 2018. You know, still up 3x. I guess if you go from some 2019 prices, you could find almost up 5x. So still up a good bit, but not too bad overall, I would say, for Baggio. He does have a lot of rookie options, which is sort of always the discouraging factor, I would say. But he does have Maldini in the rookie class, so it kind of pairs them up together, makes them a bit more iconic. 1964 Panini Calciatore Pele. I believe this is the second Pele Panini sticker, going for $1,200 there. Top 15% eye appeal, PSA 7. Not too bad at all, blank back. Next to that, we have a BGS 5 Messi going for $1,230. Felt a little light. I did take a look at it myself, but I mean, if you look up here, there's a huge chunk missing up there. Same thing down here. Obviously, you know, is what it is. It's a 4.5 corner, 4.5 surface, so realistically, I don't think that's going to cross very well. Here we have sort of a Pele dollar bill-esque figure. This is in a PSA 3.5, Pop 101, none grade higher, going for $1,230. Light blue laser Mbappe from 2018 and a BGS 9 going for $1,620. Not bad, honestly. I know people, you know, they love the true blue sort of thing, but if you can't get a true blue, I think that this looks really, really good. I always sort of love the laser and the velocity sort of backgrounds that you get with that. We have an Erling Haaland Finest Prized Footballers. This is the blue-red fusion going for $2,000 there. Not too bad at all. Really like the look of this card myself, but all of the parallels unnumbered sort of, you know, leave it up to everyone to figure out themselves, which people don't like doing, let's be honest. 1958 Pele Aquarella and SGC 3 going for $2,300, almost $2,400. If we take a look back at some of the last prices for that, basically here we can see that, yeah, I mean, obviously back in the day, you know, didn't used to be worth a lot, then was worth a lot, and has now come back down a good bit, I would say. This is PSA 2 with the black number. If we go with the blue number, you can tell that's going to be a decent bit less here. So do what you want in terms of the numbers. I believe the black is the first print. I don't know, to be honest. I remember reading in the Vintage Soccer Card Discord that there's a first print and a second print, at least believed to be, and I would assume that the higher price one would be the first print, but I could be wrong. They have been dropping a good bit. I think it looks amazing, but at the same point, you know, there is a decent amount of supply, and we do see these in a lot of auctions, so it is what it is. Maradona 1979 Panini Calciatore and a BVG 8.5 going for $2,640. Typically, people take like, I don't know, 2-3 grades off for BVG. So if you price this as like a 6, it's actually really expensive. I mean, the 6s are about $1,300, 7s are about $1,600, $1,700. So I think someone was paying like full comps almost on this, or like almost PSA prices. Don't know if I agree, but I do think it looks really good. The front, very well centered. It doesn't seem to be too big of an issue in any way, but very nice to see there. And then we move into the top 4. So here is going to be the 4th highest of the week. That is the Early Holland 2019 Finest Auto, going for 6,300. So a huge step up from here to here. PSA Pop 1 of 13, so pretty rare, I would say, in that regard. And you don't see them all too often. People do like the Finest set. Typically, the Salzburg kit is preferred, but obviously, if you can get an auto, you're going to do what you can. And then the top 3 is really crazy. So here we have a 2015 Select out of 10 jersey number Messi, going for 6,300. BGS 9.5. When you look at the subgrades, it's actually 10 centering, 10 surface, 9.5 corner, and a 9 on the edges. I mean, feels like a PSA 10 candidate, maybe, but at the same time, this is a variation, so you have 2 different golds in this year's Select, at least for base cards, really. So it sort of makes sense, I guess, why it is where it is, and people do love gold, so you're going to have a good bit of a premium, as you can tell. Continuing the gold theme, we have the 2017 Topps Chrome Messi BGS 9.5. This is a min gem with the surface being a 9 there, so, you know, is what it is, probably won't cross, but you know, you definitely take it if you could. 8,100 right there. I guess BGS Pop 1 of 2, none higher. Really, really cool card. Realistically, I think the price point's a bit high if we look back at some of the sales there. I guess PSA 10 did go for 14,000, so, you know, decent cut from that. BGS 9.5 in the past did also do, where is it? I was gonna try to find it. Yeah, maybe, there it is. That did 14.4 thousand as well. There was a PSA 9 that did 7,000, so sort of holding in line, I would say. But again, you know, I don't always like to go back to the beginning, but to think that this card in a PSA 10, I think that's what this is. I mean, it was worth 66 bucks at one point. Now, obviously, you know, as time goes on, you can't always go back and look at that, but to think that something went from 60 bucks to, you know, thousands upon thousands, maybe I'm wrong, maybe that listing's wrong, maybe whatever, right? But I do think Topps Chrome narrative is obviously strong, right? I know people talk about it as if, like, there's still tons of value in Topps Chrome, but I don't know. Really, I don't know. I don't know how to put it. But I just think that that's really expensive. I know people love Topps Chrome, but I mean, man, that is a pricey one. And then next to it, you know, if you want to play a game of Would You Rather, I guess you could play that game between these two, or you could play it between these two. Really a fun one to do no matter. But a BGS 9 Ronaldo Mega Cracks going for almost 10K. Something to point out here is this is a decent grade, 9.5, 9, 9, 9.5. So like as close as you can get to being a gem mint one. But a couple people pointed out that it does look short on the borders. So basically, it might be one of those where maybe just from the factory it wasn't cut right, or maybe, you know, someone cut it themselves. You never really know. But typically cards, you know, go all the way or at least close to the edges of the slab. Here, that is not the case at all. There's really not a lot of room on that side of the name, and his cleat's almost being cut off there, so that is not typical. So for some reason, we always seem to get, you know, some sketchiness going on with the top cards of the weekly, but that trend continues, and here we are yet again. So overall, I thought that this auction, I mean, you know, for the high end, this was really fun to look at for some of the high end there. The mid end was decent, but I would say lackluster. I mean, this is really the range where you typically see a lot of stuff, right? In the 5,000 to like 500 range, there's usually a lot here. It's just, yeah, like a fake Messi, a few modern, well, a lot of modern, another modern, a couple GOAT rookies, a couple other GOATs, and that's really about it. There really wasn't too much going on, as you could tell this week. Generally speaking, I think it's a decent sign that, you know, people aren't going to be, at least it doesn't seem, just throwing all the cards at auctions if they aren't going to get prices that they actually feel are worthwhile. Obviously, at the end of the day, it's all supply demand. Where does that balance out? Who knows? But we'll see where it goes in the future. I think it is a fun point on the graph to be able to gauge and sort of see what's going on. But that is going to be it for me today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like. Would love to hear any cards that you won after, maybe got, maybe thought sold too high or too low. Let me know down below in a comment. And if you want to see more videos like this as soon as I go live, make sure to subscribe. With that said, hopefully you have a wonderful day, and peace.